Open up the Unity Hub, go to Add, navigate to where you downloaded the project file, open it. If there's no Unity version here, go to Installs and install the latest version of Unity, or add it. Double click, open up a project in Unity. It should open to Project 1, the Project 1 scene. If not, go here to Art 169, click on Project 1. If you look in these assets, the materials, the scripts, the textures are all the ones we're going to be using in this scene today. Go ahead and press play. Make sure you can look around the scene. And if you look here, I have a green dot for my right hand and a red dot in place of my left hand. That's because I'm using the simulator, not actually connected to a headset. And to exit play, press Command P. In this video, we're going to go over a few categories of controller interactions. First, controllers and game objects, then allowing game objects to interact with other game objects, and then finally allowing for the controller to interact with the world through button presses. But first we need to do a little prep to set up our scene. So go ahead and click on the capsule, go to Add, search for rigid body, click it, and this adds physics to the capsule. So if you press play, you'll see the capsule is a little fast, but fell down and fell through the table and the ground there. So again, Control P to exit. And to make sure it doesn't fall through, we add a collider so it starts to check for collisions. And we want a capsule collider because it is a capsule shape. So click it. And the table here already has a capsule collider and a rigid body, so they don't pass through each other. When we press play, nice. Control P. Now we're going to allow for controller to game object interactions. In this case, grabbing and using the VRTK pre-built components. So go to Add, search for interactable object, scroll down, it's right here, it's this one with this little flying pig. I'm just rotating my screen here. And then add child of controller grab attach. And drag this and drop it here. Select is grabbable. Make sure it's all in the capsule, yep. If I press play, then we'll see that with my green little hand here, if I get it inside the capsule, I can grab it. There we go. I can grab it and walk or float around with it. and then I can let go, and it drops. We're going to allow for game objects to interact with other game objects, and the way we're going to do this is to detect collisions via a short script. So if I go down here, Project 1 scripts, open it up, you'll see there's already a collision detection script, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to go ahead and delete it and rewrite it so we can see exactly how to do this. Delete. Select the file again, create, C# script, rename it, collision detection, and double click it. You notice it automatically opens Visual Studio for me. It should open whatever IDE you have, but Unity does suggest you use Visual Studio for Windows or Visual Studio for Mac if you've got a Mac. If you look here, this is the default template for scripts. There's a start method and there's an update method. We're not going to use the update method, but I'm going to leave it in case you want to mess with it. And I'm going to change start to a different method called on collision enter. And this allows us to do something at the moment a collision is detected on the object we put the script. And then I'm going to pass it a parameter, collision call, and this is the thing that it collides with. I'm just naming it call arbitrarily. And up here, I'm going to do something so that we can pass our script a game object from the Unity scene. Game object, public game object. And let's name this object to destroy. So what we're going to do is we're going to destroy the object we collide with, but it's going to be a predetermined object that we want. In our case, the table from the scene. So let's just do a short if statement. If call this one here dot game object. Oops. Game object equals the object to destroy, then destroy dot destroy call dot game object. Ooh. Game object. There we go. And then we just want to click save to propagate our change to Unity. If we go back, we get our collision detection script. Click on our capsule, and then just drag and drop it onto our capsule. Or we could have gone to add component collision detection. And if we press play, you'll see when the capsule collides with the table, nothing happens. Why is that? It's because we forgot to hook up our table to the script. So if we go down to the script, where is it? Here it is, collision detection, object to destroy. There's no object to destroy. So just grab the table and then drop it in here. This also could have been declared through the script, but I think this is a little easier to see. So now if we press play, yes, the table is no more. Control P. Now we're going to allow for the detection of button events or button presses on the controllers. And the way we're going to do that is you go up to VRTK scripts, and there's a left controller, and there's a right controller script alias, and all these are generic Unity game objects that get attached via some magic to whatever headset you're using, or in my case I'm using the simulator, so it'll attach to my little green and red hands there. So you can click on either. Go ahead and do the right. Make sure this is on, and then if you see here, basically what this is doing is if you press any button, it should output a debug statement that the button has been pressed to the console. And we can see that if we click on the VRTK controller event example script, event listener, sorry, and you can see that it's a pretty long script, but it's basically a bunch of if statements that are looking for button presses or button releases and printing to the console when that happens. So I want to go ahead and find the trigger press method. Okay, and then here it is, do trigger pressed. And we want to do something when the trigger is pressed. And I think a fun thing to do would be to make a cube appear. And this is how you do this. Game object, cube, I think that's a good name for a cube, equals game object dot create primitive. And create primitive allows you to make either a sphere, a capsule, or a cylinder, or a cube, like we're going to do now. So it's asking what type of primitive. We want to do a cube. And then let's make this a little more interesting, because we can make one cube in one spot, but we won't be able to see more cubes if they appear in the same spot. So let's vary them a little bit. Vector 3. The vector 3 is just an XYZ position. So we do 0, and let's vary the Y. We'll have some sort of variable, like how many times the trigger's been pressed, trigger count, and we'll need to define that in a bit. And then, oh, that's the problem. Transform. And then it says trigger count does not exist, so let's make it exist. Yeah, I think this is a good spot to define it. Float trigger count, is that the name? Equals 0. At first, oh, so set it equal to 0. So this is 0, 0, 0 at first, and then every time we press it, let's go ahead and add 1 to it. Trigger count plus plus. That'll add 1 every time the trigger is pressed. And this should work. So file, save. Let's go here, back to Unity, press play. And I think I'm standing at 0, 0, 0, so I'm going to back up a little bit. Oh, that worked. Oh, nice, 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 nice. Okay, yeah, so it's every time we press it, it's making a cube a little bit higher than the last cube, exactly 1 Unity unit.